Hello and welcome back to Dark Souls 3. This is part 13, I believe, of our Halberd run. Last time we went through Gotthard Castle, we beat Dragon Slayer armor, and we got our Halberd to plus 10. And this time, we are back in Undead Settlement, and this is where we first met Eygon of Carim. This is where we first met Arena, and here, as you can see, we can get Morn's Great Hammer and Moaning Shield. And then we can head back to Firelink Shrine, where as you can see here, here we can purchase Morn's set. That happens once you beat Dragon Slayer armor. Eygon just dies.
Ashen 1, Bish.
But last time, we also got the Braille Divine Tome of Lothric. So,
Oh, champ, do you wish to?
as you can see here, you can start off with Heal, Replenishment, Caressing Tears, and Homeward. Giving her the Braille Divine Tome of Cream
Take what?
allows you to purchase Med Heal, Tears of Denial, and Force. And then giving her the Divine Tome of Lothric
Take what?
allows you to then purchase Bountiful Light, Blessed Weapon, and Magic Barrier. And if you purchase all 10 of these light miracles, then she will have a shift in demeanor and stuff will happen.
Have a pleasant journey, champion of Ash. I pray for your safety.
What that is specifically, you will have to see on your own or wait until we do a faith-based run. Which is gonna happen. One of our single weapon class runs, we will be doing a faith-based run, so you'll get to see what that's about then. For now, we can head back to the Grand Archives, where, because we beat the other three Lord of Cinders, Gotthard will now be here. And he dies. And that gets us his swords and a key. And we can use the key to open this door, which he can't do until both Aldrich and Yorm are dead. But now heading into the Grand Archives, there's a crystal sage here. And they will teleport out once you hit them. And they have a few different locations, and you're supposed to kind of go throughout the entire area, fighting them every time you run into them. So, we are going to try to do that. For now, Titanite Chunk, hello. So you can kind of see part of their hat up there, which is pretty far away. So we don't have to worry about them just yet. For now, we can worry about just going through, exploring, and dunking our head into wax. So let's go. And in here, pretty dark, but there's a shiny little crystal lizard to light our way. And Twinkling Titanite, and a Chaos Gem, and then 2 Twinkling Titanite. And to the left of this staircase is a lever. And to the left of that is a soul. And to the left of that is a now opened section where we can get power within, and then a fire whip. I think it's fire, at least. I'm not gonna check it, but we'll find out on the whip run, I suppose. But Titanite scale, and ooh, so a running attack and then a normal allows us to 2-shot. Neat. But there we can kick a shortcut down. Here, 2 Twinkling Titanite. And there, as you can see, Crystal Sage is back. But for now, rude. We don't have to go this way. This isn't even the way to go. Just wanted to clear this section out for later. Assuming we don't die, at least. Now, you can take this ladder up, or you can take the stairs up. Either way works. I like to go up the stairs because if you go up the ladder and then an enemy comes after you, there's not as much that you can do. Whereas if you go up the stairs, it's slower, but it clears out everything so you can take on the Crystal Sage one-on-one. Rude. But alright. And as you can see, our head is no longer Duncan Wax. And now those curse arms are actually cursing us. Another Titanite scale. So, yeah, that's what those arms do. Ow! But you're generally supposed to take them out around here. And that gets you the Crystal Scroll. And then you can turn around, there's a Lothric Knight there. And a lever here, which opens this. This gets you the Scholar Ring, which increases your intelligence stat by 5. As you can see, we now have 3 of these. 1 more to go. And then here you can dunk your head in wax again to protect yourself from those. And this is where we pulled the lever, but going up here and left instead of right, there's another one of these enemies, and then Titanite scale, and Silicat ring. And then you can jump out here And that gets you to the Evelyn. And then drop. Now we don't need that. We don't need the extra souls, so this is basically where we started. And heading forward and to the right. I thought an enemy was gonna drop down, but that gets us a Titanite slab. And also there's a Lothric Knight. And up here, I didn't grab it before, but Titanite scale, and you could grab that right at the very beginning. But continuing to head through here, just looping back around on ourselves again. Don't know why that one got me. I'm usually not looking straight forward when heading through here. But that's the bridge where we killed the Crystal Sage. And here there's an illusory wall. There's an Outrider Knight. If you kill them, you get the Outrider Knight set. And past them, you can pick up a sorcery, but Outrider Knights are extremely fast. Halberds are not very fast, and I don't really care for the set or the sorcery. And I'd rather not take the chance of dying for two things I really don't care about. So once you get to here, off on the left, there's a drop down. You can get 2 Titanite scales. And then there's a red-eyed Lothric Knight. Red-eyed Knights have more health and damage. And they can also give themselves a buff. As you can see, this is what I meant by Halberd not very fast. Like, on most of the weapon classes that I'm used to, I can just keep swinging like that. And they never get an attack off, but they can with Halberd because it's a lot slower than what I'm used to. But go through them and you can get Crystal Chime, which, just like the chime we picked up last time in Lothric Castle, this also scales with both intelligence and faith. And there's also a Titanite chunk here. But from there, for the 3rd time, we can run on back up. No, this is the last time. I promise. And we probably could have made this just 1 or 2 run backs, but ah well. But here we can dunk our head in wax again for something we're gonna do pretty soon. First, that's where we took the drop off, but instead of doing that, we can continue forward and we can head to the right, where we can take an elevator down, and then moving forward, there's a lever. And a little gray rat enemy. I forget what they're called. Thieves or something? Alright, well, there's an enemy. But this is a Titanite chunk. And those are the doors we walked in on. You can see the bonfire. So this is... There's that ladder there, which was a minor shortcut, but this is the first big shortcut. Considering it skips like half the area. But now we have that major shortcut. And so we can continue on. And this is why we dunked our head in wax, because this would be a lot of curse buildup if we didn't. And I mean, you don't have to go in there, but it is nice to get rid of those enemies. Here, there's a chest with 3 Titanite scales. And then to the right, there's a crystal lizard. You can take them out for a twinkling Titanite and a refined gem. And then here you get the fleshbite ring, which does a little bit of everything. A little bit of poison, bleed, curse, and frost. Though not as much as the things dedicated to one, and it weighs slightly more. But good to have options, or good to double up if you really need a certain kind of defense or resistance. That is not the direction I rolled. I don't know why the Souls games do that so much. Where usually when you're locked off, but if you get hit and then you roll while laying down, you're basically just gonna go in some random direction. Now here you can go up or you can drop down. I'm gonna drop down first. So behind you, we can get ourselves a hollow gem and a Titanite chunk, and that's the Lothric Knight we saw before. The one on the end of the path on the bridge where we killed a Crystal Sage. Which is a bit of a mouthful, but yeah. We're not going to deal with them because we don't have to. And we don't want to. But here there's another 3 Titanite scales. And there they are again. In case that mouthful was confusing. So we could have dropped down and just ended up there. But that would have meant skipping over the 3 Titanite scales. And Titanite scales are very good if you have a weapon that needs them. Because I can't think of any place to grind them And you can't buy them infinitely until the next area. But that's where we drop down. Instead, now we can continue on. And sometimes that makes them fall down, sometimes it doesn't. Either way, they died here. And then here's a soul. Now, sometimes shooting them makes them go up into the wall and then fall and then die. Like that. My last 3 times playing Dark Souls 3, that has not happened. They just fell down normally. And I don't know what makes them do what. I don't know if it's like the area you shoot them. I don't know if it's a random chance. I don't know, but... either way, you kill them. You get a Twinkling Titanite and a Sharp Gem. And we are going to reload because... flashbang. But we're going to reload because I want to take the other one out as well. And normally you can take both out if you go for the left one first. Yeah, I just couldn't do that. Oh, hi. But Twinkling Titanite and a Heavy Gem. So, you can go left or right from there. I'm going right because I don't want to deal with him. But I'm not sure why he didn't die there, though. I knocked him off into oblivion. Normally that kills, but it didn't this time for some reason. But keep heading all the way down here. Kick a shortcut ladder down. And enemy. Now, if you had gone left, you would have ended up taking a drop there onto here. And that gets an ember and an undead bone shard. And assuming you've picked all of the other ones up to this point, this is the final undead bone shard. Which is nice. Now here there are 3 NPC. One dex build, 1 strength build, 1 int build. And sadly you cannot get the attention of just 1. If you get the attention of 1, you get the attention of 3. That's just how it is. Like, period, end of story. There is no one. You get 1, you get all. Even if you sit back and shoot one with a bow. You still get the attention of all of them at once. But thankfully, outside of an occasional giant FU laser, like that, you can mostly ignore the int build. Again, outside of the occasional giant death laser. And for him, if he shoots his bow, just walk left or walk right. Either one works. But yeah, you do want to keep this one for last. Mostly because she's a computer with a parry. And something about parries is they're very risk-reward, but a computer has perfect timing and therefore never misses a parry. And so she can easily parry you, and then you can take a great axe to the skull. Which is not fun. But you kill the one all the way on the left, you get this. You kill the one in the middle, you get this. You kill the one on the right, you get this. And it's either as Gotthard dies or here. I believe here. Where some new armor sets will appear. Available for purchase. But there's a soul, and then here's an elevator. If you aren't confident in your ability to take on 3 hostile NPCs at once, you can just run past them and get this elevator, as it brings you right back to the beginning. As you can see, Grand Archives. So, this now allows you to skip everything before now. And you can just do the entire thing in a single elevator. Now from here you can go forward for progress, or you can go left. And the way of progress should always be taken last. So here we are. And there's a soul there. And then up here, there's going to be 3 winged knights. And it's best to ignore them and immediately run up here. Because that stops any aggro, but also Hunter's Ring, which increases dexterity by 5. So now you have all 4 of those. Kinda weird that strength was at the end of the last area, and intelligence and dex were in this area. It kinda feels like they were just thrown all in at the end. Like, I don't know, it would have been kinda nice to have them spread out a little bit. But Winged Knight. And backstabs are very strong. And that's 1 down. And right across from the ladder up top is an opening, and if you've gotten all of the Estus shards up until now, this will be the final Estus shard, which means once we go back to Firelink Shrine, our Estus Flask will be maxed out, both in terms of quantity and quality. But here, there's another Winged Knight. And backstabs are very easy and strong. And that's 2 Winged Knights down. They have a chance to drop Titanite chunks, by the way. So, not the best farming spot, but if you're comfortable fighting winged knights, then not too bad, I suppose. But if you can take out all three, then you get a guaranteed Titanite slab. Only once, though. But there's one Titanite slab. And then you can drop down. And then you can drop down again. And that puts you inside of a cage with divine pillars of light. Is that a sorcery? Is that a miracle? I don't know. I don't look at it. Either way, you get a blessed gem. You can drop down. There is a sage ring. Plus 1 or 2. I forget which. But you can get that in New Game Plus. Again, 1 or 2 depending on which it is. But here, you can take a ladder down. You get 2 chests, Divine Blessing, and 3 Twinkling Titanite. And then there's a little broken window. And this brings you back to an earlier section. This is where we got the fleshblade ring, and then first made it outside. So, we got that. There's also an item there. When I said you can go left or right, item if you went left. But it's not important, so we are not gonna grab it. Instead, we're gonna head back to Fireling Shrine because there's a few things here. First off, killing the guy with the great axe, the one who dropped the shield. Now you can buy the From armor set. And killing the Dex one gets you the Black Hand set. It's only the top half because the bottom half is another set. Because lower things, but yeah.
Ashen 1.
Tis wasn't it?
And now we can reinforce our Estus Flask for the final time. And we can get some more upgrades in. Beautiful. So, everything requires either Titanite chunks or a slab. Let's see, this would be 12, 24, 36, 48. All besides this. But that'd be 60. So we need 60 chunks and 5 more large Titanite shards. And then we can upgrade these two, because why not?
Pretty big, I know.
But we can also sell our souls, because we have a bunch of souls. Beautiful. 40,000 just from these two. Incredible. And we're not gonna use any of these, so we can get rid of them all. And just stick with our 9 halberds. We'll keep that because it looks cool, but not gonna use any of these. Completely worthless to us. Good.
Ashen 1.
Welcome. Very well. Then take.
And then we can get some levels. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4.5. So let's see. 6 and 8. 7 and 8. 0, 1. Alright. So, health, endurance, vitality, strength, dex.
Farewell, Ashen Me.
All at 30. A very good quality build. So we can burn that. Cannot kindle any farther. We are now officially maxed out on the Estus Flask. We have it at the highest amount of sips. We have it at the highest potency. We have our weapon at its highest potency. We have 2 alternatives, both at their highest potency. We're doing pretty good. But you head up the final elevator. And then you head out right and forward. And then you get to this area, which I have heard is apparently a reference to Demon Souls. Wouldn't know, haven't played it. Because I don't have a PS5. But I would love to play it someday. Because I would like to at some point have every Souls game under my belt. Yeah, as you can see, we have gotten past the days of just normal nights. Every night is a red-eyed night now. Which means more damage, more health, more killing power in general. And again, the Halberd being slower than what I'm used to is really getting me. But that's why we use it. That's why we use every weapon class. So we can figure out what's good, what's bad, what works, what doesn't. And that's what I was doing, by the way. That's what I always do, by the way. And even though I was mashing the attack button, it just didn't do anything. Man, they really have better speed and better range. Yeah, they really just have better speed and better range, don't they? That is... I wonder how that'll work when I've got it. Will I have better speed and range with that weapon compared to this Halberd now? Oof. The Ultra Greatsword guy was easier. Wow. The Ultra Greatsword guy who isn't introduced. Until Lothric Castle should not be easier than the Spear Knight who's been here since the first area. Maybe it's just because there were two of them, but... ouch. I definitely could have played that better, though. But... here's another shortcut elevator. We're gonna bring it down. And then we're gonna send it back up. This brings us into Lothric Castle. And over here is where we fought Dragon Slayer armor. And I'm gonna head all the way over here, because that's where the bonfire is. This has always confused me, and I believe it's confused a lot of other people as well, on why there's two bonfires here. I feel like it could have been at least a tiny bit justified if the bonfire was on this side. So that way you could say, oh, well, it's a faster way of getting back to Dragon Slayer, or getting back to the Twin Princes. But it's not on that side. But as you can see, even though we sent the elevator back up, the elevator is still here, but it goes down. Just like in the Undead Settlement. Except this time, instead of doing it for a little quest, you do it for a Titanite slab. And so, you go down, you get the Titanite slab, you head back up. It's a long elevator. But then you send it back down. Again, it's a long elevator. But you send it back down, and then you can take it back up, and this is a lot of back and forth, and it's a long elevator, so... And it can be a pretty tough fight, so we're gonna send it back down, because self-care. At worst, it'll be a waste of 0.003 seconds. At best, it saves you from an elevator ride, which can be annoying. But if you did Cirrus's quest, you can summon her here. I'm not going to. We're just gonna head on in and get ourselves a cutscene.
Oh dear. Another dogged contender. Welcome, unkindled one. purloiner of Cinders. Mind you, the mantle of Lord interests me none. The fire-linking curse, the legacy of lords, let it all fade into nothing. You've done quite enough. Now have your rest.
So now, rolled too early. Yeah, you have to be very careful with stamina on this boss. Because despite not having any legs, he attacks quite a bit. And if you attack at every opportunity, you just won't have stamina. And so, as sad as it is, some of those opportunities have to be forsaken for stamina's sake.
Oh, dear brother. I'm on my way. My brother. Unyielding sword of Lothric's prince. Rise if you would. For that is our curse.
And now, phase 2, with another not one, but 2 health bars. So, once again, there's Lorien, like in phase 1. I rolled too early. But now there's Lothric on his back. Ooh. And so, if you have some bigger weapon classes, and you stick to the side without the sword, and you roll through with attacks, you can actually sometimes hit Lothric along with Lorien.
Oh, dear brother.
And if you knock Lorien's health down to 0,
Mark my words, Ashen One. You remain among the accursed.
I sure do. Do this just for the extra souls. But yeah, also when Lorien gets down to 0 HP, you can knock him off Or you can lock... I can't speak English today. You can knock Lothric off to get some free hits and then... But that gets you the 4th and final Cinders of Lord, along with Soul of the Twin Princes. And then use this because we can. And if you want to go put those away, you can. But first, we want to do something very quickly. Assuming this is when it happens. And I am assuming this is when it happens. Even though I haven't played the game in a little bit, or at least haven't done Sirius's quest in a little bit, but it is. So, once you beat Twin Princes, then you can get the Sunless Talisman there, which is the talisman Sirius uses. And here you can buy the Sunless set, which is Sirius's set. And so you can get that if you want.
Ashen one, huh?
And that guy up there, Leonhard, if you want to do his quest, you can, because if you do it normally, then Sirius gets very mad at you, but now Sirius is dead, you got all of her rewards, so now you can do his quest without worrying.
So
But with their soul, you can get Lothric's straight sword, which is, or Lothric's holy sword, which is a straight sword, which has no magic or lightning damage or anything like that, but it does kill with faith a tiny bit. Or you can get Lorien's greatsword, which is an ultra greatsword, and does a bit of fire damage and scales with everything, which I suppose is neat.
now.
And if you get both of them, which requires New Game Plus, then you can smush them together. However, I'm just gonna sell it because 20,000 is good.
Ashen one, huh?
Welcome us. Very then take note.
And
Farewell, Ashen Mink.
I don't know how much more vitality I need. We're one away from being able to have the shield. Even though the shield isn't helpful and we didn't use it, I'm still counting it. Because I can.
Welcome us. Very well then taken.
So yeah, we can get it. Let's see, 8-3. Yeah.
Farewell, Ashen Maiden.
We hit level 100. We can now have the Executioner set, Winged Knight Halberd, which is the heaviest of the halberds, and the Lewin Shield, and still have a good roll. Although some slightly heavier rings could interrupt that. But still, we can have our normal ring setup. Now all we're missing is being able to have the torch, which is 1, maybe 2 levels away. Either way, we went through all of Grand Archives. We got another sorcery scroll, we now have 4 that we didn't use because we didn't get that NPC, but still, we got the 4th and final sorcery scroll. We got through all of for some reason I can't think of it, but Duke's Archives, Grand Archives, that's what it's called in this game. So we got the 4th and final sorcery scroll. We went through all of Grand Archives. We got the 4th and final Cinders of a Lord. We made good progress today. And there's only, like, we could end the game by beating one more boss, but there's still one more area to go, which is optional, but I say every boss, that means every boss. So we will go after that next time, and yeah.